A very good Tuesday morning to you. You are watching Youth and Entrepreneurship here on Y in the Morning, only on Y254 channel. And if you do want to participate in the conversation, do slide into our DM. The number is 22162. Start with YM254. On Twitter, we're at Y254 channel. The hashtag is Y in the Morning. And on Facebook, we're at Y254 channel. And if you do miss an interview, do make sure you catch up with us over there on YouTube. And then you can comment and see some of the goodies. Like for today, we have something very special for women and the youth. So interesting. From plastic waste to textile taste, opportunities in environmental conservation. I have the CEO of T3EPZ Limited, who goes by the name of Gurpreet Kenth, and I'd like her to say good morning to you.
Good morning.
All right, so Gurpreet is here to explain to us how we can turn this plastic into this. All right, so I'll make sure that she gives us a bit of background information now that she's an environmental engineer. Tell us about this for someone at home who is wondering what has happened here. So yes, can you please explain to us and give us a bit of background?
So basically what we do is we collect post-consumer PET plastic and we convert it into textile fibers. So the plastic comes to the plant, we crush it, we hot wash it and crush it into a small flake, and then we extrude the flake into textile fibers.
All right, your company is new, yeah? It's just a bit new. However, you're one who reigns from a family business of 60 years. Can you let us know at home, family businesses are not very common amongst Africans. However, it's very common amongst Indians. Can you let us know how this has helped you even found your own company?
So I work for the family business. Family has been business for about 60 years now, so 6 decades in Kenya. My grandfather, Meg Singh, he started a first parent company, which is Meg Singh Cushion Makers Limited. So that's where we do upholstery and we manufacture seats for buses and for the automotive industry. So I think coming from a family business, and now my brother, sister and I are the 3rd generation running it, and it just gives you such a platform to come back, to get your education, to come back and to just set up whatever you want to do. And I think we're just really blessed in that way. I think family businesses are catching up with the African family now. I think it's predominantly Indian because we come from such a culture, but I think the Africans are catching on how we do it, and I think it's going to be a good thing for Kenya.
All right, so tell us why the interest in this particular juncture rather.
So my educational background is environmental engineering with economics, and I've always been very passionate about the environment. And after I studied and lived in Canada for about 7 years, and my dad thought it was time to move back home. So I moved back home, and I knew what I'd be doing in the family business right away, but I think moving back to Kenya, I had to be doing more with my time because I was coming back from a country where I was just doing so much with my free time. So one night I was just sitting and I was thinking, I was like, if I move back, I'm going to have to be doing something more than just what's set out for me. So then I was like, you know what, I think we need to convert waste to value in Kenya, and no one's doing that. So I just wrote up a small proposal, sent it on email to my dad, and the next morning he called me and he's like, I think we should do it. And I think he sent it to my brother, and my brother called me as well, and he's like, yes. And he's like, I think you need to fly back as soon as possible. And I came back home, and ever since I've been back, it's just been on the go trying to set this up and just getting it off the ground.
You have a lot of collaborations. Your idea has attracted a lot of goodwill from different organizations. Can you let us know about that? When you have a business idea, especially of this magnitude, before you tell us about the opportunities you have created for the young people and the disabled as well, what are some of the aspects that you look at? How do you establish this good faith? How do you walk into these offices and get them to collaborate with you on an idea, as you mentioned them as well, the people who are collaborating?
So I think firstly, I think we've been really lucky with all the connections and the contacts we've gotten. Also, it's a whole matter, like my dad mentioned to me yesterday, being in the right place at the right time. And I think when we introduced this project into the Kenyan market, it was the same week where the Minister of Environment was talking of a ban on the plastic bottles. And I think it was the right opportunity for us to, like, you know, go to Kenya Association of Manufacturing and tell them, look, this is your problem and this is our solution.
Yeah.
So that primarily was a really big boost for us, and then we've got partners like Safaricom on board who are doing the technical aspect. And you know, it may sound like it's really difficult, like it's a big name, but they're actually really welcoming and they're so supportive, especially the sustainability team. We're working in partnership with UNEP, especially with all their NGOs and all the youth work that they do, and a lot of ocean plastics as well. We're working with NEMA, we're working closely with the Ministry, Kenya Association of Manufacturing, and Coca-Cola as well.
All right, tell us about, there's a very interesting story you told me about how serious these plastic bottles, and they're being thrown around everywhere. It's a very serious thing and it's actually causing a lot of damage. So I'd just like the audience to have a look at something that will move your heart as much as it moved mine. So there we can see people dumping all these things, and there's our wildlife, yeah, Gurpreet?
Yeah, elephants.
Yes.
I think this is in the Mara.
Oh goodness, yeah. So this is the damage these plastic bottles are doing when they're just being dumped all over the place. Whereas you told me you have some collaboration about collecting all the plastic bottles in our national parks.
Yeah, actually it's hurting my heart just watching that video.
You are like, oh my god,
I don't want to see it. Yeah, it's really, you know, the effects, it's actually us humans who use this plastic, and then we dispose of it, and then it's the planet and the animals and the wildlife that are actually paying for what we do, which is first of all really unfair. Second of all, as citizens of this country, I think it's our own responsibility to be disposing our trash how it should be disposed of well. And talking of the collaboration, we've collaborated with Serena Hotels, who are championing this for us in all the national parks, and the Kenya Tourism Federation. So we're going to set up collection points in all the national parks in Kenya. I think we've got 42 national parks. We're doing our pilot with Mara, so we're having 3 or 4 collection points in Mara, and there's just over like 1,000 camps and lodges and hotels over there who will be bringing all their plastic waste to these points, which we will then be shipping to our plant in Athi River.
Oh, so is this only in Kenya?
For now, yes, because I think we've got a lot of plastic waste in Kenya to look after first. And then I think we do have plans of moving into East Africa, East and Central Africa. We've already got our contacts in Tanzania and how we're going to be collecting it.
All right. Now speaking of opportunities in this conserving of the environment, you told me that the fast collectors, you refer to them as the fast collectors. To give us a bit of background information on what you're doing for even the street children there, and how they can get an opportunity to make, even if it's 5 shillings in a day. So just let them know about the fast collectors, as well as the ones fishermen in coast.
So I'll just take you through our process. Plastic waste in Kenya is just thrown with all our other trash. So all our household waste, or if it's industry, all of it just goes into one bin, which is then put into one truck, which then goes to the dump site, which is Dandora or wherever it is that it goes. And it's actually our company who's going to come up and show people that this plastic trash, which is being seen as trash, actually has value to it. It's a resource. So right now the first collectors, or the scavengers, we like to call them the first collectors to give them more dignity, or the informal waste picker sector of Kenya, they scavenge for these plastic bottles all day, and they take it to a broker. So the broker would sell it to a recycler like us for maybe 15-16 shillings a kilo, but in reality they would just pay the first collector 4 bob a kilo, which is 4 bob a kilo is nothing, and a kilo has 32 bottles. So can you imagine how long it takes to pick these 32 bottles to make a kilo, and then you just get 4 shillings at the end of it. So with our business model, we actually want to cut that out, and we actually want to uplift the lives of Kenyans, and just, you know, give them more livelihood by paying them, even if it's 10 bob a kilo that we'll be paying them. And then working in partnership with the UN, we're actually going to be giving them meals and healthcare with the World Health Organization. So those are the things and the policies we're working on for the first collectors, while empowering them.
All right, there's also something you are doing for the disabled.
Yes.
Don't be coy.
So all the bottles are different colors.
Yeah.
We've got blue, light blue bottles, which are water bottles in Kenya. We've got the clear plastic, which is your Coca-Cola, your Fanta, very few clear water bottles. We've got green, which is Sprite, Mountain Dew,
yes,
which is that really fluorescent color, and we've got the stony bottles that are brown. And just recently I've seen this other drink. It's like really dark indigo blackish. I don't know what it is. And so because of these different colors, and when these first collectors pick them, they actually pick a mixed color batch, and so when they come to the factory, we actually have disabled people color sorting them. So as long as they're not visually impaired, we're ready to employ them, because we feel like it's a minority, and in Kenya there are not many opportunities for such people.
This is where women should be in CEOs anyway,
yeah, so you know, just as long as they're not visually impaired, we have some training for them, and they can just separate the green from the white from the blue, which then makes us get one color fiber at the end of it. So throughout the plant, our whole goal is to empower women, empower the youth. So we do want to primarily employ women, especially as a woman CEO. That's something I really want to push out there. And even target HIV affected individuals and give them an opportunity as well.
All right. So now, because ladies are big fans of clothes and textile, we'd like to understand, now this is eco-friendly, but I can see there's some fiber over here. Can you please let us know, like, okay, what happens here?
So for the bottle to become this, so it comes to the factory, it's color sorted by the disabled people we're talking about, and then it's an automatic label removing process and debaling process. So once all of that is done, so we have a 6 hot wash process. So this plastic bottle actually goes through many washes to get it cleaned, because what we see in front of us is clean, but everything that comes to the plant is not necessarily clean. Especially when it comes from the dump sites. So it goes through a process, and then it becomes a small 12mm flake. It's like something that small. So the flakes are then dried and dehumidified. The flakes are then stored and then extruded. So then it's like a mechanical process of melting it and extruding it into fibers. The fibers then go through stretching and cutting and all of that, and then if we want to color it, like this is from the clear fibers, that's why it's a white color. But if we want to color it, there's then a master batch, there's a dosing unit where you color it whatever color you want, and then at the end it's just cut into the different lengths we want, and then it's baled, and then it's ready to be shipped.
All right, then it comes out like this now.
That is actually, so these are the textile fibers. So the fibers are then spun into your yarn. And then the yarn is either knitted or weaved into that. Into a garment. So it depends on what you want. Do you want more jersey material? Like the sports material is different. This is 100% polyester. We can also do blends. We can do half polyester, half cotton, and get any kind of garment out of it.
All right, so tell us about your target market. I've heard you mentioning Calvin Klein. Tell us about all that.
So the target market is actually the first eco fiber out of Africa. So it's actually a huge potential out there. Our first client was actually H&M, who were very, very keen on what we were doing.
Oh my goodness.
What we offered them was actually their sustainability goal for 2030. And so our second client was a company called Philips Van Heusen, who is the brand owner of Calvin Klein, Tommy Hilfiger, Speedo, Michael Kors. So these are the kind of labels we're working with. And there's a mountain climbing equipment company in North America called Patagonia, who are very keen on this as well. A lot of textile companies in Mauritius and South Africa.
All right, so now that you're being very, very active with the Big Four agenda when it comes to manufacturing, what more can the government do to support enterprises like yours?
I think for us specifically, what we need from the government is electricity is very expensive, and I think electricity is a driving cost, because everything, like I mentioned, from when the bottle comes, it's all energy intensive. It's all, you're just talking of using millions of shillings of electricity every day. And if we are to be competitive in the global market, and you're talking of markets like China and India, I think our electricity has to be subsidized, especially for an enterprise like ours that's doing good from the get-go up to our end product. I think it's important for the energy to be subsidized.
So they subsidize the electricity for you?
They have to.
All right, for someone at home who is interested in even forming a business to supply you with the plastic bottles that people throw, how can they get in touch with you, and how?
So we actually have partnerships with a lot of waste collectors right now, and a lot of initiatives. So there's a waste collection, or it's an initiative by a musician called Giuliani. Do you know
Giuliani, yeah, we know Giuliani.
So by Giuliani, it's called Dindora Hip Hop City. So we've partnered with him, and he's got an initiative called Customer Bora, where you can take back, they've got collection points, and you can take back your waste at home, and they actually give you benefits in return.
Okay.
So then we take back from him. So that's one way to go about it. They can get in touch with that whole system and do it through that, or just even get in touch directly if that's what they want to do, and however, get to our collection points and bring it there. And even through Kenya Association of Manufacturing, they now have a lot of PET collection points throughout the country where they can be bringing this waste.
All right, now in the spirit of entrepreneurship, we'd like to talk about your strategies. What other marketing strategies have you put in place going forward to make this more known to Kenyans? As you said, it's a bit new.
So actually, Kenya doesn't really have a market for what we're manufacturing. So we haven't really focused on marketing strategies within Kenya. But one day we do want to do it. We want to introduce the whole textile and the whole eco-fashion into Kenya.
Yeah, eco-fashion, I like that.
But for now, I think our whole marketing strategies are based on how to get this to North America or to Europe, and just focusing on that, and then eventually when we fully established, and that's when we'll be ready to introduce it to Kenya.
All right, amazing. Now I'd like to understand from you, I know there's a young lady at home who is like, wow, that's a CEO, goodness. What words of encouragement would you have for a young lady out there who wants to enter the manufacturing industry? Is there any stereotypes they should be aware of? And also, basically, what would you say to your daughter right now if she's looking at you?
You follow your dreams. That's what I'd say. Yes, there are stereotypes in this industry. Any envelope I get, be it from the lawyer, be it from anyone, potentially anybody, or even emails from people in China or Europe, it's always addressed as Mr. Gurpreet, or like I get envelopes addressed as Mr. Guppy, and I always have to sign at the bottom and be like, I am not Mr., I'm actually Miss Gurpreet. And so that's the primary stereotype, that it's only men in the manufacturing industry. And I think I've been very lucky with the support I've gotten from my family, because they really encourage me, and there's no stereotypes at home, I'd say, which is, I think, a good stepping stone and a starting point where I can go out and be like, yes, this is me, I'm a woman and I can do it, and if I can do it, I think anybody can do it.
All right, I'm so encouraged myself.
You can do it, Hilda.
Eco-fashion. All right, thank you. Anyway, thank you so much for coming to studio today. We really appreciate it. At least now we can understand how people can even make some money through conserving the environment. Thank you so much, Capri.
Thank you.
All right, that is the CEO of T3 EPZ Limited. Yes. So make sure you do catch up with Gurpreet, and if you missed this interview, do make sure you catch up with us on YouTube. Don't go anywhere. Entrepreneurship Tuesday continues shortly.